All right. So with the scale system, there is two programs that we'll be using. The first one's the design software, and that's CodeSoft. That's what you're going to use to create the labels, make changes to labels, and save all your labels. Um, you'll also use that to print out if you're printing, let's say, 25 labels for a 1 pound package of burger or something like that, where it has a set weight. Comet, on the other hand, is the second software we'll be using, and that one is the software that ties together the label that you created in CodeSoft, the scale, and the printer. So this is the program that will allow you to do the random weight printing of objects that you throw on the scale. It'll print out a label that corresponds to the weight of the product on the scale. Um, Over here, we have a folder that has the images, so this just has your bug, your safe handling if you need it, your nutrition facts if you need those, and then I have a folder on the desktops that I create for saving your labels. So um, go ahead and open up the CodeSoft design program, and this software is activated with a USB security key. You'll find that USB security key is in the USB hub that should be plugged into your computer. On that same USB hub, there's a printer spot to be plugged in and a spot for the scale to be plugged in. All of those need to be plugged into their correct ports to ensure that the system functions properly. So whenever you're using it, make sure you got the USB security key plugged in, the printer plugged in, and the scale plugged in, all to their corresponding spot. Uh, in the CodeSoft program that opens up, this is how it always opens up. It'll ask you if you want to create a new label, use an existing label. What you're going to want to do is use an existing label. We'll already have the template created for you on this computer, so you don't need to be creating anything new. The template's going to have all of your formulas and everything that basically make the label work. So you're going to want to make sure you're using that. So then you can come up here, open a label from File, and we have our labels right here on the desktop, and we got the template that we're going to start with. So we can click Open, and then here you'll see our label. So this will show the size of your label on these rulers here. So this label, for instance, is a 3x4. On this label, you'll see we got the name of the product, the ingredients, pack date, barcode, and we will have the price, weight, and the total. So essentially all of these are tied together over here under formulas, and we'll go into that in a little bit. So we'll go into some of the basics here first. So if you click on the outside of a box, you'll notice that all of these, first off, all of these have a box around them, and that's just to get into, basically, if I click in it, any of these, I can make changes. So if I click the backspace key, I can make changes in there, and that allows me to do it typing when it's got this red box around it. When I click on this outside of this box and turn it black, that essentially lets me control the entire box. So click in it, it's red, and I can make changes to the text and stuff inside the box. The black, I have control of the whole box. So now I'm moving the box around. You can click on it, move it around with the mouse, or when you have the beer cheese or the title of it highlighted or anything else on here, you can use the arrow keys to make small adjustments on it. So then you can be a little more precise with your movements. And if you have something with a black box around it too, right here, this is the horizontal alignment. So this will center something in the middle of the label. So right now the beer cheese is off center. We click this, that will center it in the middle of the label. Same thing when you got the black box around it. If I want to change the font size of that with that black box, it changes everything in the box. So just something to know, you can change the font or the font size, bold, italic, any of that stuff with the black box around it. For ingredients, you can type in this box as well, but sometimes I find with longer ingredients, it's easier if you double click on this, this will open up a properties box. And when you come in here, if you go to data source, it'll have all of it right here, and you can type faster and it'll just naturally update on the screen. And this is a little more like typing in Word where it keeps up with you, where if you're typing on the actual label over here inside the box with the red, if it had the red border around it, sometimes it can lag a little bit and get behind because it's creating an image of everything that you've typed. So, so then once you have that, um, it's another one of the basics. So over here we have the tools. You won't have to use these very often, but just so you know that they are here. This is the add text tool. We have the barcode tool and the image tool. So this is if you're adding an image, adding a barcode, or adding some text. For instance, for adding an image, you would use this if you're going to be putting a bug or a safe handling label on there. So you come over here, it goes to your folder that we have. We have our image folder on our desktop already created, so you can see that this keeps all your images in there and it updates them on your screen. So let's say we're adding a bug. We have the bug on here, and you can make the size of the bug whatever you need it to be to fit into your area. So for instance, we'll have a 0.6 inch bug right here. So now it's on our screen. We can click on it, move it around wherever we'd like it. But if you don't need a bug, or if there's anything on the label you don't want to get rid of something on this label, for instance, highlight it, click the delete key, and it's off the label. As far as making changes on your label, what you're going to want to do is start out with your first label. So you open this up as your template, and we want to save this. So I would come up here, go File, Save As, Browse, and now I can name this beer cheese to match the label name. So now I have a label that is beer cheese with my ingredients, my name, and my barcode. So on the label too, so we have a $7 price per pound. And you'll see once I have this box selected over here, it highlighted this price under advanced over here under data sources. You'll use this price, TARE, and UPC code. They're part of the formulas that go into creating the label. So if you want to update the price on any of your labels, don't do it over here on the label. What you're going to want to do is come over here to the price, double click on that, and if we want to change our price, we can change it to whatever we need it to be. So if I set it at $6.55 a pound, you'll notice that it changes the total price. So if I come back over here, go to price, I can put it back to my $7 a pound that I had it at originally. And that updated the price back. The TARE right here, this basically is something that you'll set for whatever your packaging weight is. So you can leave the scale with this system set at 0.00, so just the natural zeroed out state. So what you're going to want to do is you can come over here, set your TARE at 0.01, 0.03, 0.02, whatever you need it to be. Hit OK, and it updates it into the weight. So instead of having, if we had a package that weighed 10.29 pounds, it's taking off that 0.02 pounds to give us a 10.027. UPC number goes into creating this barcode here. So this 2 at the beginning of it is telling the register or your point of sale that the product is a random weight product. The next 6 digits after that, if you come over here and click on this data source, the next 6 digits after that 2 can be anything that you want them to be. They can be your PLU code or some sort of internal number, or if you want, they can all be, you can just have it 000001, 2, 3, 4, whatever you want it to be, just so you have each product with their own individual barcode. And then the next numbers on there, so after that 9 there, we have 7189, which corresponds to the total price. And then the last digit again in the barcode is a check digit, and that's just randomly generated by the computer based off the other numbers involved in the barcode. So that's how you get your UPC barcode. So the only thing you have to change involving a barcode is go over to the data sources, double click on it, it'll open up this box, and I can make changes to the barcode to have it say whatever I need it to say. And you'll notice too, if you don't have the right amount of numbers in there, the barcode disappears because it can't create the barcode unless it has the 12 digits for the UPC code. So always make sure that you have the correct number of digits in the UPC number. As far as formulas, these won't have to be changed, but these are basically what go into creating all of this and being allowed to use the random weight printing. So pack date, we can do pack date, sell by date, any sort of date you need to do. So if you come over here, you can see we have a pack date and a sell by date. So if I double click on this, we have the date set as month, day, year, 9/24/25. Um, and they have other options that you can select from. So this is fully customizable. You can have it a Julian date. You can have it in any order you want. It's all up to you. Basically, you would just delete the stuff out of here. And I come over here and I want the month. I can also add the day and the year. And we can add spaces so it looks normal. So we got 9/24/25. And as I said, that can be changed. If you ever need to offset days, basically you can come here. And if I was printing these labels out a week before I was actually doing the slaughtering or packaging, you can change it to 7 or whatever you need to do. So 60 days out, whatever it needs to be. So since the pack date, I'm going to leave it at 0. Um, so sell by date's more about where you're going to be using this option tab over here. So then we can set it at however many days out we need to have the product out. So if we wanted to add that to our label, it's very simple. We want to add a sell by date. We drag it over. We click on text. Now it's got the black box around it. I can come up here and I can use Arial so it matches the rest of the text on my label. I can take off bold and I can set it to whatever size I need it to be. And if I want, I can click on this text tool right here. Add sell by. And then we'll go next. And we will go to our Arial text so it matches. Size 8. We'll take off the bold. Next. And we can finish. And then there we'd have our sell by date. You can just click and draw a box and around anything you want to select and it'll group it together so you can select it. We could move it or same thing, have it. We don't need it. We can hit the delete key and get rid of it. All right, so basically that's a quick overview of all the data sources that are over here that we'll be using. So most you'll be using date or advanced when you're changing price, tare, or UPC numbers on each label. Then after you have your label completed, so we have our beer cheese label, we have it set up, and it's done, we hit save. So now if we're going into another label, for instance, so we'd want to come up here, go to File, and Save As, and now we can start a new label. So we'll go Browse, and then we're back in our folder here. And we want to create a new product. So then we'll go, let's say an apple brat we're going to create. We hit Save. Now we have the name right here, Apple Brat. I can click onto this, get inside the box, and I can delete and make changes. Apple Brat. It's off center. I can click on that and center the product. There's also a box. If you ever have an empty box on the screen, you can kind of see it right here. This is kind of a spot I leave for the descriptor line. So if you need anything like um, using real apple or anything you need to just say, use mozzarella cheese, certain type of cheese in a product, you can do that. So that's there. Then down here, you'd come in and you can just go in here and select and delete your ingredients if you need to, or as I said, sometimes it's easier just to double click on the outside edge of the box here, double click on it, bring up this properties box, and we can come into the box up here and make our changes and just start typing what we needed to have and just continue. Anything you accidentally change in these, if you make a change and you don't want it to be, you can hit cancel, see it put my ingredients back. I also have an undo key up here. So the next step in this, after we got our title changed, our ingredients changed to updated to whatever they are, the next thing we're going to want to do is make sure we update the price on our product. So if this one's $8.59 a pound, we can update that. That updates the price and the weight, or the price and the total. This product, we can change the tariff if it's a change, or if it's the same packaging, you can just leave that the same. The next thing you're going to want to do is go over here to the UPC number. So for this product, we can change the UPC number to, so we change the UPC number, repopulates the barcode again because we have the correct number of digits in it. Hit OK. So now basically with the change of the name, ingredients, barcode, and price, we have our new apple brat set, and we can come up here and click save. So now we got our second label done. So essentially, to keep creating labels, where you keep going through this process of getting our new label, going to file, save as, browse, and then we would retype in the new product name that we want to use. And then we'd have the new product here, the name would correspond right there, and then same thing again, we go through and make all the changes on here, and then we can keep going. So that's basically going through setting up and creating a new label. Try to keep it simple on there. Something I recommend before going through and setting up all your labels is to make sure you have everything located on the label exactly where you want it. So if there's anything you want to move, so if you want to move the weight, price, anything, barcode, get it to where you want it before you start making all the labels, so you have a nice clean template, and then all your products will look the same in your case as you're going, versus coming in here and moving everything around, and then after each one, so in every label in your case or wherever you have all your stuff will look completely different. It won't be as uniform. So recommend just kind of going through, getting everything set on the template, and then going from there with everything set how you want it. So the next thing I'm going to talk about is some of the printer settings on here. So down here, this is the printer that we're using. It's the printer name. So we're using with this system Toshiba BEX4T1 with 300 DPI printhead, and it's connected to the printer on the USB 1 port. So when I talked earlier about plugging your printer into the USB hub on the spot where it says printer, that's basically because it's located on the USB 1. If that printer gets moved to a different USB port, all of a sudden it could be USB 2, 3, and then you won't have any communication because the computer is trying to send it out through the port that it was set up on, and then the printer won't be getting information. So make sure that's always plugged into the correct port, and you shouldn't have any issues with that. Up here is printer setup. So if I click on that, this basically gives me all the printer settings, and these will be set when you get your label, but these save to each individual label. They don't go through and change for all of them. So depending upon what you're using, as far as labels and stock or lamb or anything, basically you can come in here, adjust the temperature, the print speed, to whatever speed you want. Usually for using the scale, I don't recommend going much faster than 8. Usually keep it at 5 inches a second, and for some of the more systems where if you're using an imprintable lamb or a resin ribbon, I suggest keeping it at 3 because it gives a better print quality. So it all kind of depends on how small fonts you're using and the type of stock that you're using in ribbon. So for this one, we're going to go with 3 inches a second. We have a little warmer of a temperature at 6. And then the detection. For detection, gap or hole 2 just means that you'll be using a pre-printed label. So we print on the label when we send it out, so you might have your logo, the safe handling, or anything like that. So if that's already pre-printed on there, you're going to use a gap or hole 2, which should already be preset. Gap or hole 1 is essentially for a blank label, and black mark is for a label that would have a black line between each label for the printer to find the spots between the label. So we're on 2, gap or hole 2. Then when we come over here, we have the gap length between labels. On our labels, the gap length is always 1/8 of an inch, which is 0.125. So we got that set on there. And then down here is the part that you'll uh, mostly be using when you're setting up these labels because all the rest will already be kind of set up for you. So we have the tear off and we have the peel off. Peel off is what you'll be using when you're using the scale label, the scale to label your system or your products. With the peel off turned on, it basically, you print something out, it comes out the front of the printer, and it winds up the liner underneath. You can peel the label off, and once you peel the label off, you can apply it to your product. Um, so that's kind of how you're going to be doing these random weight ones like this label that I was showing. Um, so if you have a product where you're going to be having a set weight, we'll go and show that here quick. So if you're going to be doing something where we want to print off 50 1-pound packages of burger, I can come on here, turn the tear off on, and this tear off means that now it's just going to feed everything out. It won't rewind the liner. So everything's going to be coming out the front. You can either catch it with your hands and wind it up, or if you have purchased a external rewinder, you can hook it up to that and print them out, and that'll wind them up for you. Tear off position is just set so that you can tear down on the printer, starting at one side, tear across, and it just goes right across the silver bar out the front, so you can tear it off when you're done with printing your batch of labels. So we got that set, so we click OK. And then if I come over here under formula, so if I'm going to set up a set weight label, I would come to this printed weight, and it's got my formula right here. So if I come there, now when I go to when printed, right here it's going to have the actual weight that it's showing up on the label. So this is the product. So if I want a 1-pound package of hamburger, because I have the tear in, I would set it at 1.02. So now you see it updated down here to that. Where if I don't have that, it's at 0.08 because we have the tear involved. So we set that and we hit OK. And so now we don't need those open anymore. And we come back over here, we got that. So now if I want to change the price for a pound of burger to $6.99 or whatever it is for your 80/20, you can go there. Um, Same thing as we were changing the label. Ground beef. And then we could come here if we want to have anything. So have it say 80/20. And you'll notice there, that's what happens. It doesn't change if you don't have the black bar around it. So you want to make sure you got the black. 12. Then once again, we can have that there if we want the. So now we got the ground beef, 80/20. Can move ingredients down so it's not so cluttered. So then basically that's going through, setting that up, and you'll notice you still have the same thing. Um, and then if you don't need a barcode or if you want a barcode on there, it still keeps the random weight for that. But you could also just do a set barcode if you have a barcode that you want to use. So basically come over here, click on new barcode, opens up the new barcode box, and then what we're looking for is we want the UPCA. So then we could set our barcode to whatever we want it to be. As long as we got 11 digits, computer makes that 12th digit for us. We go next. We can change the width or the size of the barcode to whatever we need it to be. So then there we go, finish. Now same thing, we can move the barcode, and if we wanted to get rid of this one, we would hit the delete key. We could put our new barcode there. We come up to File, Save As, and then we could do ground beef, and then set weight. So then we have another product. So, and if I want to, depends on how you want to organize, but what I generally recommend is you can come up here, right click on this box, click new folder, and then we could have a set weight folder. So then I just go set that up, double click on it, and I can save my ground beef set weight into that folder. So then when I come to open new product, I'm back in my desktop and labels. So then I got my other product here. I got set weight. I could set a new folder if I want to. You can create a beef folder, poultry folder, pork folder, and then even in those you could break it down further to brats, or some people just have them all lined up in one big row in here. So it's all kind of up to you how you want to set it up, but it's just as simple as a right click in here and go to new folder, and it adds the new folder. And to get rid of anything, you can just highlight it, hit delete. So, so we'll cancel out of that since we already got this label open. So remember here, so basically all we did was come in here, we turned the tear off on for this, and we went and changed this barcode. So now basically if we have this label and we're looking to print it, we got it all set up, and this one's a set weight at 1 pound. So in this software, the code soft here, this is where we would print off anything that's a batch order. So if we need 100 of these or 250, 10, whatever, basically come in here, however many you need, type in what you need, come down here, hit print. It sends the information over to the printer and it prints. And it's just popping up with this right now because I don't have a printer attached at the moment. So that would print out your 50 labels in there. So that's essentially what goes into setting up the label. So we've set up the random weight first, then we set up the set weight. So I'm going to close out of this program. So now I'm going to kind of go into the other program, the Comet program. And this is the program that has the label that you created in the CodeSoft, connects it with the scale and the printer. So basically in this program right here, it's reading everything. So there's a scale on your USB hub where it plugs in. It's on COM3, and so that means it's on port number 3, and it's reading the information that it gets right here, and it's putting it into this value. And it's reading weight. You'll remember weight is what we changed in the set weight label. Set it at 1 pound for our ground beef, but in this it's variable, so the scale will be filling in that information for us when we put the product on the scale. So the only buttons up here that you'll have to use is this F6, and that's to start transferring. It's got the 3 comets on there. So if I click that and it says update and print, that means that it'll be updating this value every time that you put something on the scale, and then it'll print out a label. Update only, you only use this when you're testing to make sure that the printer and the scale and the computer are communicating properly. So if we're going to be printing off something, we'd go to update and print. You're not going to want to use this open or this save. You might think that at first, but stay away from those buttons. Basically, those open and save go into this default here that we have set up, this whole formulation that we got that goes into tying everything together. So stay away from those. You don't need to use those. So to pull up a new label, we come over here to this 3 dot, click on it, and we can go into whatever product we want. We select the Applebrat, click OK, and we hit this. We got update and print, and then we can connect our printer or our scale and get a product on our scale. So you'll notice now the value says 10.29 pounds. And then basically you throw something onto the scale, it would update your weight there. So close out. So remember that basically CodeSoft and Comet are the two programs that we'll be using. Comet is the program that you use when you're doing a random weight label. Come up here, start transferring, update and print, hit OK, and then you connect it. You throw something on the scale, see it updated the value there from the 10 to the 0.46 pounds. So whatever you throw on there, then you can just basically, it'll print out the label, you stick it on your package, take it off, throw the next product on, and it updates the product, prints out a new label. So we can hit stop there. So that's basically all there is to this program. So just remember, it's the start transferring and to change labels. It is this little box over here that pulls it up. And same thing, you can navigate through the screen just by using the up arrows and the open keys. So if we want to switch to the beer cheese one, do that. Updates to beer cheese. Update and print. Okay. So that's about all there is to Comet. Very, very simple. And the CodeSoft software. Um, so essentially, another thing that I like to recommend with all of these is, so we're using the USB security key. I recommend to keep your computer offline just because any Windows updates could cause your software to not work. If the update comes through and it's not compatible with that key, then you'd have to upgrade and buy a new software. So if you just keep your computer offline, you can keep using this key as long as your computer keeps running, or as long as we still have a Windows 11 computer, you can just put it right back onto another one. Um, so that's just kind of something I like to tell everybody. You can put it online if you want to, but just be aware that it might make you have to update your software sooner than you wanted to, or buy a new software, I should say. Um, Another thing that you're going to want to be aware of is um, once you have all your labels created, so we have this folder here with all of our labels. Once you get everything set up, so you don't have to go through the creation process again, I recommend using a USB drive, thumb drive, and backing up this label of folders, putting that somewhere safe. So let's say something happens to this computer, gets broken, gets spilled on, just quits working like computers can do. If that happens and you have the labels on a USB drive, I can set up a new computer for you and get it all set up the same way that this one is, and basically send that to you. And you can put your key into that and use that same software that you had and just keep going on the computer. As long as you have everything backed up, you can just put it right on there. Otherwise, you would have to go through and recreate all your labels. So it's just a good thing to do is make sure once you got them all created, back up your labels, and then every like once a year or something, just whenever you think about it, just make sure you back up those labels, especially if you're continually making new ones. Not as important if you're not making new ones, but just something else to be aware of with this system. Um, so once again, just kind of just to wrap things up here. So what we have here is the CodeSoft software. When it opens up, it always opens to this new label document. We go to open existing label, and you'll see here all of our recent files that we've had, or if you're getting something else that's not there, go up there to open a file and we can find what we want to open. Um, So I'm going to cancel out of this and close the program once. Now I'm going to show you what happens if you don't have that USB security key installed. So I unplug the key, and if I come down to CodeSoft and try and open it without that key, this is what happens. So it comes up with this. Right now we're still in the trial period. You get 30 days of free trial, and you can do it 100 times. So you can see that it has that, but after that 30 days is up, we got 24 days left. It'll just come up and it'll just say activate. So then it'll come up with a screen like this. Um, and we don't have that where we enter in this. So basically you need to make sure that USB key, security key is installed. And once it's installed, try and open it again and you'll see that it opens up like normal. So there's the USB key. Inserted, how it opens up, open existing label, go back to our template, and then there you have it. So essentially that's all that there is to the program and stuff. It's fairly simple once you get into it and start using it. Make sure you refer back to this video for any questions. You can also call and get a hold of me. Um, I have my business card in your printer on the top lid when it's opened up. My email is support@djvlabels.com. You can call me directly too. It is 320-258-9281. If I don't answer, leave a message. I'll get back to you through that. But as I said, usually email's the quickest way to get a hold of me. So just be aware of that as well. And that should do it for the video of setting up your printer, scale, and software.